Welcome to Miss Scarlett. Subscribe and don't miss out on Patreon. Have fun! As the bell rang its tinkling tune, a subtle invitation, Michael's heart raced with anticipation, mingled with a hint of trepidation. He stood at the portal to his metamorphosis, about to venture into the domain of transformation. The air, perfumed with the unmistakable scent of styling products and the promise of change, greeted him. Taking a moment to gather his courage, he inhaled and stepped into the realm of reinvented selves. A radiant vision with cherry-red lips and a playful pixie haircut appeared before him, dispelling his nerves with her genuine smile. "You're here for the 48-hour rejuvenation, I presume," she announced, her words confirming his destiny. "I'm Cassandra." Michael nodded, his voice catching in his throat. "Yes, that's me. I'm Michael." Cassandra's smile never wavered. "It's wonderful to meet you, Michael. We're going to take excellent care of you. Are you ready to begin your transformation?" The word transformation sent a thrill through Michael's body. He nodded eagerly, following Cassandra to a private room at the back of the salon. The space was cozy, with a comfortable chair facing a large mirror and an array of beauty products arranged on the counter. "Let's start with your hair," Cassandra said, running her fingers through Michael's short blonde locks. "We'll add some extensions to give you length and volume. What style were you thinking?" Michael pulled out a picture he'd saved on his phone. "Something like this," he said, showing her an image of long, flowing blonde waves. Cassandra nodded approvingly. "Excellent choice. It'll frame your face beautifully." For the next few hours, Michael sat still as Cassandra worked her magic. She carefully attached the extensions, blending them seamlessly with his natural hair. As the blonde tresses grew longer, Michael felt a weight lifting from his shoulders. He watched in the mirror as his appearance began to shift, becoming softer, more feminine. "How does it feel?" Cassandra asked, as she ran a brush through the newly lengthened hair. Michael's eyes misted over. "It feels right," he whispered. Cassandra squeezed his shoulder gently. "That's what we like to hear. Now, let's move on to your eyebrows." With expert precision, Cassandra shaped Michael's eyebrows into graceful arches. She explained each step as she went along, teaching Michael how to maintain the look at home. "Eyebrows frame the face," she said, stepping back to admire her work. "They can completely change your expression." Michael leaned in close to the mirror, marveling at the difference. His face already looked softer, more delicate. "Now," Cassandra said, pulling up a chair beside him, "let's talk makeup." For the rest of the afternoon, Cassandra guided Michael through the basics of makeup application. She showed him how to create a flawless base with foundation and concealer, how to contour his cheeks to create a more feminine bone structure, and how to make his eyes pop with mascara and subtle eyeshadow. "Remember," she said, as she demonstrated a winged eyeliner technique, "makeup is an art form. It takes practice, but don't be afraid to experiment." Michael watched intently, soaking up every word. As the day wore on, he found himself relaxing, his initial nervousness replaced by excitement and curiosity. As the salon prepared to close for the evening, Cassandra removed the makeup and gave Michael a sheet mask to wear overnight. "This will help hydrate your skin for tomorrow," she explained. "Get a good night's sleep, and we'll see you in the morning for day 2. Michael left the salon feeling lighter than air, his new long blonde hair swaying gently as he walked. He couldn't stop running his fingers through it, marveling at the silky texture. At home, he carefully applied the sheet mask as instructed and settled into bed, his mind buzzing with anticipation for the next day. Morning came, and Michael practically leapt out of bed. He showered quickly, taking care not to wet his new hair extensions, and hurried back to the salon. Cassandra greeted him with a bright smile. "Welcome back. Are you ready for the grand finale?" Michael nodded enthusiastically. "More than ready." The day began with a manicure and pedicure. Michael's nails painted a soft pink that complemented his fair skin. Then came the makeup application, building on the techniques he'd learned the day before. Cassandra worked meticulously, enhancing Michael's natural features while creating a glamorous, feminine look. "Now for the pièce de résistance," Cassandra announced, leading Michael to a room filled with racks of clothing. "Let's find you the perfect outfit." They spent the next hour sorting through dresses, skirts, and blouses. Michael's hands trembled as he touched the soft fabrics, imagining how they would feel against his skin. Finally, they settled on a knee-length emerald green dress with a sweetheart neckline and cap sleeves. "This color will look stunning with your blonde hair," Cassandra said, holding the dress up to Michael's chest. Next came undergarments, a task that made Michael blush furiously. Cassandra helped him select a bra with silicone inserts and showed him how to create the illusion of cleavage. "It's all about the right support and a bit of contouring," she explained as she adjusted the straps. With the foundations in place, Michael slipped on the green dress. The fabric hugged his body in all the right places, accentuating curves he didn't know he had. Cassandra helped him into a pair of black heels, coaching him on how to walk gracefully. "Small steps," she advised. "And remember to lead with your hips, not your shoulders." Michael took a few tentative steps, wobbling slightly before finding his balance. He practiced walking up and down the room, gaining confidence with each pass. Finally, it was time for the wig. Cassandra had selected a long, wavy blonde wig that matched the color of the extensions perfectly. She carefully placed it on Michael's head, adjusting it until it looked completely natural. "Are you ready to see the final result?" Cassandra asked, her hand on the doorknob of the dressing room. Michael nodded, his heart racing. Cassandra opened the door, revealing a full-length mirror. Michael gasped at his reflection. Staring back at him was a beautiful woman with long blonde hair cascading over her shoulders. The green dress hugged her curves, and her legs seemed to go on forever in the black heels. Her makeup was flawless, with smoky eyes and full, pouty lips. "Michael," Cassandra said softly, "meet Michelle." Tears welled up in Michelle's eyes as she stared at her reflection. She turned from side to side, watching the dress swish around her legs. She ran her hands down her sides, feeling the curves of her new body. I'm beautiful," she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. Cassandra beamed. "You always were. We just helped bring it to the surface." Michelle spent the next hour practicing walking, sitting, and even speaking in a softer, more feminine tone. Cassandra gave her tips on body language and mannerisms, encouraging her to embrace her femininity fully. As the makeover session came to an end, Michelle felt a pang of sadness. She didn't want to leave this safe, accepting space. Sensing her reluctance, Cassandra said, "You know, the night is still young. Why don't you go out and enjoy your new look? There's a lovely restaurant just down the street. Quiet, discreet, perfect for a solo dinner." Michelle's eyes widened. I don't know if I'm ready for that. Cassandra squeezed her hand. You are. Trust me. You look amazing, and you deserve to experience this fully. After a moment's hesitation, Michelle nodded. Okay, I'll do it. Cassandra helped her pack up her belongings and gave her a small purse to match her outfit. With a final hug and words of encouragement, Michelle stepped out of the salon and into the cool evening air. The restaurant was just as Cassandra had described, a cozy, dimly lit place with soft music playing in the background. Michelle took a deep breath and pushed open the door. Good evening, madam. The host greeted her with a smile. Table for one? Michelle nodded, her voice barely above a whisper. Yes, please. As she followed the host to her table, Michelle was acutely aware of the click of her heels on the hardwood floor and the swish of her dress around her legs. She sat down carefully, remembering Cassandra's instructions on how to sit gracefully in a dress. The waiter approached, handing her a menu. Good evening, miss. Can I start you off with a drink? Michelle's hand trembled slightly as she took the menu. A glass of white wine, please, she said, proud of how steady her voice sounded. As she perused the menu, Michelle found herself relaxing. No one was staring at her or whispering. To everyone in the restaurant, she was just another woman enjoying a solo dinner. She ordered a light salad and grilled salmon, savoring each bite. The wine helped calm her nerves, and she found herself people-watching, imagining stories for the other diners. Halfway through her meal, a gentleman at a nearby table caught her eye and smiled. Michelle felt a blush creep up her cheeks as she smiled back. It was a small interaction, but it filled her with a sense of validation. As the evening wore on, Michelle felt more and more comfortable in her skin. She finished her meal with a decadent chocolate dessert, relishing the way the waiter called her Madam when he brought the check. Stepping out of the restaurant, Michelle decided to take a short walk before heading home. The night air was cool against her skin, and the street lamps cast a soft glow on the sidewalk. She walked with confidence, her heels clicking rhythmically. Passing by a store window, Michelle caught sight of her reflection. She stopped, taking in the image of the woman staring back at her. It was still a shock to see herself this way, but it felt right. It felt like she was finally seeing her true self. As she turned to head home, Michelle realized that this experience had been more than just a makeover. It was a revelation, a glimpse into a life she had always dreamed of, but never thought possible. Back in her apartment, Michelle carefully removed the wig and dress, hanging them up with reverence. She washed off the makeup, revealing Michael's face once more. But something had changed. Even without the trappings of femininity, he felt different, more complete. Michael climbed into bed, his mind whirling with the events of the past 2 days. He knew that this experience was just the beginning. There would be challenges ahead, difficult conversations, and big decisions to make. But for the first time in his life, he felt hope. Hope for a future where he could live authentically, where Michelle could exist not just for a magical evening, but every day. As he drifted off to sleep, Michael made a promise to himself. He would nurture this newfound part of himself, explore it further, and see where it led. The journey ahead might be long and difficult, but he knew now that it was a journey worth taking. The next morning, Michael woke up feeling refreshed and energized. The memories of the previous 2 days flooded back, bringing a smile to his face. He got out of bed and walked to the mirror, running his fingers through his short blonde hair. The extensions were gone, but he could still feel the ghost of long, flowing locks brushing against his shoulders. He opened his closet, his eyes immediately drawn to the emerald green dress hanging there. It seemed to call to him, a symbol of the incredible transformation he had undergone. Michael reached out and touched the soft fabric, closing his eyes and remembering how it had felt to wear it, to be Michelle. With a deep breath, Michael made a decision. He couldn't go back to pretending. He couldn't ignore the part of himself that had blossomed over the past 2 days. It was time to take the next step. He picked up his phone and dialed the salon's number. After a few rings, a familiar voice answered.
Good morning, Cassandra speaking. How can I help you?
Michael's heart raced as he spoke.
Hi, Cassandra. It's Michael from the 2-day makeover.
Of course! Hello, Michael. How are you feeling after yesterday's experience? He took a deep breath.
I'm feeling amazing.
And a little overwhelmed. But mostly I'm feeling like I need to talk to someone about what happens next. Cassandra's voice softened with understanding. I'm so glad you called, Michael. We actually have a support group that meets weekly for individuals exploring their gender identity. Would you be interested in attending? Michael felt a wave of relief wash over him.
Yes, I think that would be really helpful.
Wonderful! The next meeting is this Saturday at 2 p.m. It's a safe, confidential space where you can share your experiences and learn from others who are on similar journeys. After getting the details for the meeting, Michael thanked Cassandra and hung up. He felt a mix of excitement and nervousness about the upcoming group session, but mostly he felt a sense of purpose. This was the next step on his path to understanding and embracing his true self. The rest of the week passed in a blur of anticipation. Michael found himself paying more attention to the women around him, noting their mannerisms, the way they walked and talked. He practiced walking in heels in the privacy of his apartment, using the techniques Cassandra had taught him. On Friday night, unable to contain his excitement any longer, Michael decided to experiment. He carefully applied some of the makeup techniques he had learned, keeping it subtle. Just a touch of mascara, a hint of blush, and some tinted lip balm. He put on a pair of skinny jeans and a loose-fitting blouse he had bought on a whim months ago, but never had the courage to wear. Looking in the mirror, Michael saw a blend of his masculine and feminine sides. It wasn't as dramatic as his full Michelle transformation, but it felt authentic and comfortable. He snapped a quick selfie, saving it as a memento of this moment of self-discovery. Saturday arrived, and Michael stood outside the community center where the support group was held. He had opted for a neutral outfit, dark jeans and a soft sweater, wanting to present as himself, whoever that might be today. Taking a deep breath, he pushed open the door and stepped inside. The room was set up with chairs in a circle, and a few people were already there, chatting quietly. A woman with short purple hair approached him with a warm smile. "Welcome! I'm Olivia, the group facilitator. Is this your first time joining us?" Michael nodded, feeling a lump in his throat. "Yes, I'm Michael. Cassandra from the Salon recommended this group." Olivia's eyes lit up with recognition. "Ah, yes. Cassandra has referred quite a few folks to us. We're so glad you're here, Michael. Please, make yourself comfortable. We'll be starting in a few minutes." As Michael took a seat, he looked around at the other attendees. There was a diverse mix of people, some presenting as clearly male or female, others with a more androgynous appearance. Everyone seemed relaxed and at ease, which helped calm Michael's nerves. The meeting began with introductions. Each person shared their name and pronouns, and Michael was touched by the respectful way everyone listened to each other. When it was his turn, he took a deep breath.
"I'm Michael,"
he said, his voice shaky but growing stronger.
"I use he, him pronouns for now, but I'm exploring. 2 days ago, I experienced living as Michelle for the first time, and it felt more right than anything has in a long time."
The group nodded encouragingly, and Michael felt a weight lift off his shoulders. Here, he could be honest about his feelings without fear of judgment. As the meeting progressed, Michael listened to others share their stories, their struggles, their triumphs, their doubts, and their joys. He was struck by how much he related to many of their experiences. The feeling of being trapped in a body that didn't quite fit, the exhilaration of finally expressing their true selves. Towards the end of the session, Olivia asked if anyone had any goals they wanted to share with the group. Michael surprised himself by raising his hand. I think I want to start presenting as Michelle more often," he said. "Not all the time, at least not yet, but maybe once a week, to start with." The group erupted in supportive applause, and Michael felt his cheeks flush with a mix of embarrassment and pride. After the meeting, several group members approached Michael to chat. He exchanged phone numbers with a few, grateful for the opportunity to connect with people who understood what he was going through. As he left the community center, Michael felt a sense of belonging he had never experienced before. He wasn't alone in this journey. There were others like him, struggling with the same questions, celebrating the same victories. Over the next few weeks, Michael, and increasingly Michelle, continued to explore this new aspect of identity. Michelle began to make regular appearances, first just at home, then on short walks in the park, and eventually for coffee at a local cafe. Each time Michelle stepped out into the world, she felt a little braver, a little more confident. There were challenges, of course, strange looks from passers-by, the occasional rude comment. But there were beautiful moments, too. Compliments on her outfit from other women, a barista who didn't bat an eye when she ordered her latte in a voice that was still finding its feminine pitch. Michael continued to attend the support group, finding strength and inspiration in the stories shared there. He learned about hormone therapy and other aspects of transition, filing away the information for future consideration. As the weeks turned into months, the line between Michael and Michelle began to blur. Some days, he felt more masculine. Other days, she felt more feminine. And some days, the distinction didn't seem to matter at all. 1 year after that first transformative makeover, Michael stood in front of the mirror, looking at the person reflected there. The blonde hair was longer now, grown out naturally. The face was softer thanks to a carefully planned skincare routine and subtle makeup techniques perfected over months of practice. The wardrobe had evolved too, a mix of clothing that felt authentic regardless of how he was feeling on any given day. Today, it was a flowing blouse paired with fitted jeans and low heels, an outfit that straddled the line between masculine and feminine, much like its wearer. Michael, or Michelle, the name used more and more frequently these days, smiled at the reflection. The journey was far from over. There were still questions to be answered, decisions to be made about medical transition, conversations to be had with family and friends. But standing there, looking at the person in the mirror, a person who finally felt whole, who had embraced all aspects of their identity, Michael Michelle felt a profound sense of peace. The path ahead might not always be easy, but it was the right one. It was a path towards authenticity, towards self-love, towards becoming the person they were always meant to be. As they turned away from the mirror, ready to face another day, a sense of excitement bubbled up inside. Who knew what discoveries, what growth,
what joy each new day might bring.
The journey of self-discovery that had begun in that salon chair a year ago was ongoing, and every step forward was a victory to be celebrated. With a confident stride, they walked out of the apartment, ready to embrace whatever the day might bring. Whether the world saw Michael or Michelle didn't matter as much anymore. What mattered was that, for the first time, they truly saw and accepted themselves. Thanks for watching, my girlies! Be sure to check out Patreon for more!